Capricorn, welcome to your Astroflower reading going from the 8th to the 14th of May. Thank you very much for being here and supporting this channel in all ways, even sharing this video across all media platforms. And I thank you for that. It's going to be in a good week, I think. For a lot of people, it's coming out to be a good week. And I think this comes before that 14th to the 21st of May, which we've been seeing in the monthly readings and also in the lunar eclipse readings, which is also on our channel, which you can find for your reading on our channel. Interesting things are afoot, but make hay where the sun shines, I guess, is the phrase that comes to mind. So let's just get straight in here with your overall energy. The Hermit. I'm a Capricorn as well, so I do understand this aspect of sort of kind of going, it's nice to be with oneself. And, having that hermit aspect about you. But it is a card of learned how to, every aspect of you. And this goes even further than the Emperor card. It sort of goes to the stage where you have complete and utter. It's almost where you've got control over your own being, as it were. So even the shadow side of yourself, being able to quell the doubts and stuff like that within you, because the Hermit's had to go round the mountain in order to get to the top. He says, there is, my goal or my obstacle in my life. And in order to get there, I need to understand how that mountain is formed. And then they can, from that point, the height of when they get to the top of the mountain, they know every aspect of that obstacle and they can easily go past it and head towards and pluck those dreams and aspirations out of the sky, which is what the star is doing in their lantern, basically. So this is a bit about this. It might be a case as well that you're looking to having a bit of me time and stuff like that more than anything else. I think it's because you're concentrating on your dreams and aspirations, though, really. These are the karmic messages on your relationship side, on your material side, how the universe influences your karmic messages, how your guides and your past self influences karmic message, how your future self or your guides egg you on with the conversation that is within you, and the overall outcome of it there. I hope you have a lovely reading, Capricorn. I really do. Amazing times we're living in at the moment. Queen of Pentacles, a very much Capricorn card, because this is built out of knowledge and understanding. This is where we come back to this idea here. The Queen of Pentacles, within regards to your relationships, you should have a good understanding of where you're coming from and where you need to go. Having in that point of the journey where you can see the beginning and the end at the same moment. And as you do that, it's going to fill you with confidence to be at one with any relationships, regardless of whether it's a good or bad relationship. Being at one with any sort of relationships and getting the best out of it. Because you're coming from an understanding, a tree of knowledge, the understanding which is far greater than just yourself, which is getting rid of that ego. And an ego, you can't get rid of the ego, actually. I go along with other readers here when they say you can't get rid of ego. And that's so true. The ego plays a really important part in your life. It's having control over the ego. As much as you can't get away from your mental or your heart or your stomach. But don't allow your head to be the sole thing that's guiding you along. And that's the same thing with your ego, basically. Once you've got a good, clear understanding of who you are, which apparently this is what's happening here in the overall energies, it's going to have you a control over that ego sort of thing, so you can have that security and that self-knowledge that you're being just in the world. And it's actually physically just with other people, and it's physically how you say things, how you do things, what activities you do with other people. This should be the karmic message or the karmic way for you this week here. The universe is providing you with lots of things. It's providing you with the physical capacities to do things with other people, to do activities with other people, but also enough energy, enough sort of emotions, just having general abundance. I think the universe is saying, whatever's being thrown at you this week, you should be able to, we've got your back. That's what the universe is sort of saying here. Your past guides here, I think, is a methodical way of which you do things, Capricorn. Putting things together, taking them apart, you do it in a very methodical way. And your past self has actually come up with this methodical way, and you should be applying it in your life. And I think this is what gives you that knowledge and that sense of not necessarily security, but sense of just sort of weight and knowledge and knowing, basically. And knowing, that's the word I'm looking for. A sense of knowing. When you respect this methodical way of doing things, and that's how your guides are trying to influence your relationships around you. Decisions have been made. You've taken a journey. You should know that journey from the beginning to the end now, and you're in that middle. And therefore, if you approach it in a very logical, and this is this logical revolution I'm talking about, which I go into in the monthlies and the lunar eclipse readings and the solar eclipse readings as well. Very logical and methodical way about it, you will get good results. There's no doubt about it. Ace of Cups. This is what you're aspiring to. So with this mechanical way of doing things, because we are incredibly mechanical, Capricorn. It's not taking anything away from your emotions. Capricorn can be incredibly emotional, but quite often misunderstood within their emotions. And as they're misunderstood because of the mechanic. Because some people just look at emotions and don't see the mechanics that are behind it that makes you happy. So if I like a particular band and I put particular music on that makes me feel really joyous and vibrant, I can put other music on that makes me feel really relaxed. And it's just, we know mechanically how to produce or create those emotions. And people misunderstand Capricorn sometimes about how they methodically go about things. People sort of saying they're not very emotional, but we are. And this is your dreams and aspirations. You're almost giving your Ace of Cups, your heart's desires, to the outside world, and you're expecting that return to come back to you. And I think you should be. I think you're valid in that respect that you should be expecting to come back with you. And if you're not, if it's not working, then I wouldn't methodically. I would move on to something. But I think it's going to work with pretty much everything at the moment. That's what it seems like. Nah. And then you get the Five of Pentacles. You've got nothing but pentacles in here. A blessing in disguise. I think this is a case of me time as well. I think this is what's coming out of it. I think it's because of what you're putting out a clear emotional message, which is very methodical, as I said, very mechanical in the way you produce those emotions. As it's a very clear message coming out there, it's almost setting you aside from everything else. I wouldn't concentrate on your weakness, which is that mechanical aspect to us as well, Capricorn. Try and get out of your head and into your heart. I think here is more kind of getting out of your belly or your sacrum more than anything. I will be doing chakra and aura readings next week, and it'd be interesting to see which chakras are really kicking off. I'd put my money on your sacrum. I think that's what it's all about. I think basically in your relationship side is kind of sort of saying, I'd really like a beautiful relationship, but at the moment I'm concentrating on my financial aspect or my material world. And that's that sort of self-isolation factor going on with the Five of Pentacles. It is also a blessing in disguise as well. You might get something that turns up out of the blue as you're wandering out in the wilderness on your own. And you might get something that really comes to you. But it's a case of here is sort of like, don't emphasize the mechanics of it all. Just allow your emotions to be, basically, in this week. And I think it's going to bring beautiful things for you. On your material side of life, I think you have to play smart. Yeah, I think that is very true. Your karmic message here is playing smart here, is sort of disarming situations and before it actually happens, so then you don't actually have to deal with it. And this is what playing smart's all about. Once you start doing that, all of a sudden, you realize you've actually got a lot more time. And you need that time at the moment because there's a lot on your plate as far as I can tell. A lot of things going on for you at the moment. A lot of concrete stuff going in. A lot of foundation stuff. Putting into place, what you want to be living in this going future. I've had a load of healings this week. I've been doing loads actually as well. And I've been doing healings for the last 30 years. I've seen tens of thousands of people, and I've had quite a few Capricorns this week, and that message keeps coming up. It's sort of kind of going, I'm laying the foundations for a future that actually is in harmony with me. That's the sort of thing that seems to be coming out. It's preparing. This is what the universe is sort of saying. You have accomplished understanding within you. That staff there is that staff there that the Hermit is holding, right? Okay, so you've understood. You've learned a lot. And now you're realizing, and the universe is sort of saying to you, now you've gone that far, why not go the whole hog and just go to the next level? The world is your oyster. Preparing that new phase in you that's happening, whether you like it or not, Capricorn, you're going to bring it all towards you. You've come out of Pluto. Now is the time to confirm things. The Ace of Wands, out with the old and in with the new. This is like preparing and planning for it, and your old side saying this, we've gone through the difficult times. The new time should be built around your passions in what you're doing in your job, your business, and your project, because this is the material side of your life. So you should be sort of realizing that within your job that there's certain aspects of it you don't really like. In fact, I don't want to do this job. In fact, I don't respect this company. I don't really respect what we're selling. It doesn't really work with me. I want to work in a company that I respect and everything like that. And I'm really good at, and I can have faith in the company that I'm working for, the product that I'm working in, the colleagues that I'm working with, and everything like that. Obviously, you don't get all those bad things happening in your job. If you are, then you should have left a long time ago. But this is a case of here, is following those passions in your life. And even if it's for a business, following a passion within your life and starting something, following that passion, out with the old and in with the new. Allow that fire to sort of brew and go through you. 5 of Cups. You got the 5 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles. Don't highlight your shortcomings. And your shortcomings sometimes is doubt within you or doubt within the world around you. I think there's been connections in the past, in the financial past, on your material side of life that you might have done differently, that you might feel disappointed with. But actually, the moment you realise that it's over with and you know that, you're going to free yourself up. I was saying know yourself with because of the Hermit card. And once you do that, you've got the 2 of Cups behind you. Unification of yourself. Crossing that bridge and going to new lands, which are going to be absolutely brilliant for you, Capricorn. It's going to give you that sort of sensation of healing. That this comes back into this me time as well. I almost feel like there is something to be said here that life gives smackdowns, or that's with Pluto. That's what's been happening. Capricorn has been getting smackdowns for some time, and it's like you kind of like. There is an aspect of Capricorn at the moment where you're kind of going, I'm so disappointed with everything. I don't think I can support another smackdown, so I may not want to do it. And I think you're wrong here, Capricorn. I think if you're thinking like that, you've got to pick yourself off, dust yourself off. You know how to do that, Capricorn. You're really good at it. And realizing out of those disappointments comes unification of something that is so much better. And that's what you should be breeding within you. And that's what you should know in this Hermit card. Okay, so let's just get a bit of clarification on this. I will be doing live readings with Veritas Tarot. I don't know whether I said at the beginning with Victoria. We're going to be answering questions live with cards, but also looking at your chakras and your auras to try and help answer the questions. In order to ask questions, you've got to get over there and subscribe on Victoria's channel, which is Veritas Tarot. The following month, we'll be going to be doing the same thing on the channel here at the Astroflower. But yes, links in the description below. You'll be able to find sort of things and how you can participate in it all. With the Hermit card, you get the Knight of Pentacles. Working on the long-term plan. The Hermit's not going anywhere quick. You know, he's got no wings and stuff like that. His coat is not flapping behind him. He's just got this lantern in front of him, kind of going, right, where are we off to? And, you know, the Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles is a very slow-moving knight, but he's planting seeds as he goes. So in the future, he will have perpetual fruits as well. It's a karmic thing to do. You know, saying goodbye to any nightmares and difficulties because you're creating a much surer future within your relationships. And if you play smart with yourself, all of a sudden you're going to build a beautiful place over time in your physical world. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Magician. You can manifest what you so desire. If you focus on your weaknesses or if you withdraw too much within the relationships, you know, you may get the Five of Pentacles much more than the Ace of Cups. But I think that's the doubt within you that you've now over with. And you've got to realise that within you. So with the 10 of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, you get the 9 of Wands. So with all this abundance, is knowing not to go back to that or to that. Basically, it's those healthy boundaries. It's you set off on that journey on from one place to another. And those healthy boundaries could be a case of, in the past, I've concentrated on one aspect of my relationships too much, which has caused me problems, which I have difficulties with, which is that which you don't want to be focusing on. It's something sort of saying, I know those difficulties, I'll leave them in the past, I'll put the stakes in the ground, that'll make healthy boundaries. So if I start going back to what I was before, I'll get triggered by that boundary and I can say to myself, I've already experienced this, don't need to do that, I can move on. So, very methodical lesson there. King of Pentacles. You again. So we got the King and Queen over this side here. Very much a Capricorn card. There's a Taurus card, really, to be honest. But very much an Earth sign card. And this is knowing again. But this is knowing in a physical sense through learning, through books and etc. The knowing of the Queen is through action. The knowing of the King is through study. That's basically what's going on here. So you know the mechanics of how to get your, you know, good relationships around you, and you should feel empowered by that sort of idea. With the Ace of Cups, once you put your heart in it, all of a sudden those fruits that I say that you've been planting as you've been going along are there and available to you. You've just got to go ahead and get involved in it, basically. You've got to put your heart out there. Get out your head and in your heart, I think, more than anything else. The moment you get out your head and into your heart, you're heading towards happiness after that moment of difficulty. And I think that is that moment of difficulty in the past. I think this is more of a warning card to just not focus on that past thing anymore and look to the future. Do not go back to the past. Okay? That's what it's sort of saying here. On your material side here, you've got the 7 of Swords. A leap of faith, a starting of a whole new journey. And I think that's what the Hermit card is all about as well. You're starting off on your new journey, following your heart's desires. And on this side here, trusting you're smart, you're playing smart is going to be a real test for you. I think you know you're doing it right. And it's almost testing to see whether it's the outside world that is going to respond to you in a good way. I think that's a little bit. That's where that leap of faith comes in. With the Two of Wands, you get the Two of Swords. Is it a difficult decision to be made? It could well be. There could well be certain aspects within your job and your business and your projects and your material world that in order to go forward, you're going to have to make a decision about cutting something out of your life maybe, or stopping something, or just letting go of something. But there is also sort of an idea where through the planning, it becomes a no-brainer that you can go into this blindfolded in a way. That's one aspect of it all. I don't think it's going to be for everyone. So whatever job you're doing or business or stuff like that, you've got this sort of aspect of sort of like, I know what I'm doing. I don't have to worry about the things around you. Just be careful of that, maybe. Just be careful of that. Forewarned, forearmed. Is that right? So, it could well be difficult choices that you need to make, and it could well be also a bit of overconfidence sometimes within you. But this idea of saying, if you do make the decision, then all of a sudden you're going to realise that just behind you or just around you is new possibilities. And I think this is where the Ace of Wands comes into play. Two of Pentacles. We have this on this side here. It's now influencing it onto this side. So all of a sudden on this side here, it's all to do with the twos. You got two of Wands, Two of Swords, Two of Pentacles. We're only missing the Two of Cups now. You've got the Two of Cups up here on the Five of Cups, which I was talking about earlier on. I think there is a case of it is a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer in the thing that, if you plan for tomorrow, all best plans go awry. But there is this aspect of sort of kind of going, sort of vaguely know where you're going is a pretty good idea. You might need to use your lantern as the hermit in order to sort of see where you're going. But it could be a no-brainer because I've got to go that way. There's no choice in the matter. And I think there's an aspect of that within your material world. So it's a case of sort of saying, if I stay in this job, I'll be like this and like that. And I don't really want to be like that. It's really obvious. I know it's a difficult choice, but I've got to go and take that job there and move on. Four of Pentacles with the Five of Cups. You got the Four of Swords above it as well. I think you're concentrating on your nest at the moment. Concentrating on getting things really in place and secure within your life. So in a way, through disappointment, this disappointment can even be with you, of how you've done things in the past in the way of your business. And you realise you could have done it so much differently and better maybe. And this time here on the Four of Pentacles, it's almost sort of saying, I'm not going to give it away cheaply. I've understood my lesson. I'm going to concentrate on my path and keep it to myself. And, or not necessarily keep it to myself, but, not waste my time on running around for other people or trying to do everything for everybody. That's what you can do sometimes, Capricorn, and you can get lost in that for days, years, lifetimes, several lifetimes, and I think this is sort of like not necessarily holding on too tightly. It could well be that some of you are holding on too tightly a disappointment in the past. And if you don't let go of it, it's going to block your future. I think it's a bit of a blessing to sort of like that it's trying to force you into the next stage. Let's see what's going on with the, with the Four of Swords. You get the Seven of Cups. Now the Seven of Cups is that Ace of Cups there. Look, you got the Ace of Cups there. It's got like that dove diving into the Ace of Cups, and there's a sort of seems like a clock there. It seemed like to me, or what do you call it? Compass, giving you direction and stuff like that. But here you've got the only cup that's got that ace, that cup with a heart and wings on it. And I think this is the obvious path to take. The other paths are fraught with beauty and danger or difficulty. But there is only one of those ones which is one of those cuts which is completely fulfilling, and that is your evident path. And I think you've got to take it and let go of those personal sort of doubts or disappointments you've had within yourself or within the world around you this week here. Really good learning curve. As I say, there's big things coming up between the 14th and the 21st of May. I will be doing some readings on that. Not this week. That's the chakra and the auras during this week. And that'll be up next week as well on that to sort of give us a heads up of how we can sort of navigate this complicated situation that's arising. Don't forget those live readings over on Veritas Tarot. You find a link in the description below. I will see you soon. Thank you very much for sharing this video with everybody on your social media platform. Go on, why not? Show everybody who you are, the real devil who you are, Capricorn, and just share it on sort of like Facebook or whatever. Thank you very much for sort of supporting this channel. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.